This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, a Dunedin clinical psychologist admits the global COVID-19 pandemic is causing panic around the world. Washright have begun a national program to clean children's playgrounds across the country for free in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And with sporting events being cancelled across the globe due to COVID-19, a Dunedin rugby steward is hopeful a club rugby season can go ahead. Kia ora, I'm Melissa Barton. First up tonight, an update on the ongoing COVID-19 situation. The Ministry of Health announced there are 11 new cases in New Zealand, though none in Otago or Southland. A Spanish man in his 60s remains in the Queenstown Lakes District Hospital in a stable condition. In a joint advertisement, the major supermarkets are asking people to shop normally so they can collectively continue to feed New Zealanders. This afternoon, Countdown has announced a limit of 2 items per customer and will also be reducing their opening hours across the country. For the first time in 40 years, the annual Regent Theatre 24-hour book sale will not go ahead. For more comprehensive coverage, grab a copy of tomorrow's Otago Daily Times and follow any breaking news on www.odt.co.nz. A Dunedin clinical psychologist admits the global COVID-19 pandemic is causing panic around the world. However, Dr. Kumarai Valentine says while it's important to accept your feelings, there is no need to panic, and there are many things you can do to stay calm.
To date, the global COVID-19 coronavirus has killed about 10,000 people and infected more than 240,000 around the world. It's brutalised the global economy and sparked panic buying. Dunedin clinical psychologist Kumarai Valentine says while these are tough times, there are ways to remain calm.
This is a time when we are highly likely to be anxious and worried. First, it's important to focus on what we can actually do, and there is a whole lot that is within our control. One of those things is our breath. Returning to our breath, focusing on slowing down our breathing, is one way that we can drop anchor and be calm.
Dr. Valentine says while it's important to acknowledge feelings at times like these, panic buying and creating unnecessary stress only exacerbates the situation for everyone.
There's a huge tendency for people to focus on protecting their own interests. This, unfortunately, will have huge mental and economic implications. Focusing on being part of a crowd and community is vital during this time because it is together that we will get through this.
Many across the world are finding it hard coping day to day with losing family members, jobs and economic stability, or even coping with the fear of not being able to feed their children. Kumarai Valentine says if people feel like they're not coping, they should reach out.
And there are numerous ways that this can be done. In the first instance, this might be friends and family, and if it feels much more than that, then contacting your local emergency psychiatric services department is something that you can do. There are also a range of helplines throughout New Zealand that are open 24/7.
She says the Health Ministry's COVID website is an excellent source of information on the global pandemic,
which has a range of good information, including very good basic mental health information, self-care, that is vital, I think, for anyone to pay attention to in these times.
Dr. Valentine says this is an especially difficult time for people with mental health issues, and if people are concerned for themselves or loved ones, they should contact any of the available helplines. In Dunedin, The South Today.
Some Otago University students are suggesting on social media that an unofficial Hyde Street party should still go ahead. However, they have been warned by the proctor they are putting their education at risk. The street's annual keg party was scheduled to take place in 2 weeks' time, but has been cancelled due to the coronavirus concerns. But there have been a number of Storm Hyde Street Facebook posts from second-year students saying neither the university or police can stop the party from going ahead. The authors of these posts have now been contacted by the university proctor. He says their continuing education at the University of Otago is at risk if they continue that line of thought. A nationwide company has begun cleaning playgrounds across the country for free. It's their attempt to tackle the rapid spread of COVID-19.
The New Zealand franchise of WashRite have begun a national program to clean children's playgrounds across the country for free in response to the COVID-19 epidemic.
The plan to offer our services for free to go around clean playgrounds, just so it would protect the children and also try and lower the effects of the virus that's going around.
Joseph Horrell of WashRite Otago says he had the grime of playgrounds in mind when he mixed up the sanitising spray.
So the spray is a sanitizer, similar to what they use in hospitality and hospitals and cleaning water tanks. It's a biodegradable solution called hypochlorite, and the ratio I've made up for the cleaning of the playgrounds. It's a wee bit stronger, so it does kill most germs and the viruses that are around at the moment.
WashRite intend to keep on using their spare time to clean playgrounds across the country. In Dunedin, the South Today.
While thousands of people around the country are facing the possibility of losing their jobs, a recruiting company is calling out for workers in the primary sector. The New Zealand Dairy Careers firm says the need for workers had increased as a result of implications from the COVID-19 outbreak. It says work has ramped up as some of its clients increase production to meet the country's needs. One client in South Canterbury needs 40 people to start immediately. The company says the demand is also due in part to reduced numbers of international workers. Otago Club rugby games could be back in action by mid-May, according to Rugby Union board member Lee Piper. In this week's Garador Rugby Chat with Paul Dwyer, he says clubs need to remain vigilant in adhering to guidelines to avoid the spread of COVID-19.
So the first thing is, Lee, there is no rugby.
What does that mean for trainings, etc., etc.? So, well, I guess, you know, what was prevalent a week ago is not prevalent yesterday, not prevalent today, probably not prevalent an hour ago. So it's a changing world.
So look, I'll get a prediction from you, Lee. When are we going to see club rugby in this town? I know it's hard, but give me a date.
Well, it's all related, isn't it? It's like when do we start to come out of the current, coronavirus? Look, it really, it takes some positive news. It would take the government to come out in the next few weeks to say we've balanced the curve or whatever, and people might drift back. It'll be interesting to see what the New Zealand Rugby Union's view on that Highlanders competition is, because if you're going to run that, you're kind of going to run rugby, aren't you? Yeah. And we're not. Look, we're sitting here speculating. All we see is what's on the news or what we read, so we don't really know. We're all going, oh, why can't we play? But we don't have all the information.
And
personally, if I was guessing, I would say mid-May.
Just quickly on that, how hard is it to keep, because you're involved like I am at Dunedin Rugby Club, and so you've got these kids that they've gone through pre-season, and now they can't really train properly. They can go for runs and they can pass a ball one way. No, they can't even use a ball.
No, I think they can wipe the ball.
They can wipe the ball between passing it.
Guidelines on that.
Yep. Right, thanks.
Yep.
So, but how do you keep kids, with kids with limited attention span anyway? How are we going to keep them interested in playing rugby if it's not going to happen until mid-May?
It's a great question, and you saw it this week with St Paddy's Day. Like, they just literally, the truth is they will flout the rules. And there was no Hyde Street party. I wouldn't say that would be a Hyde Street party, but they'll get together. They are the worst people to try and have social distancing from each other for obvious reasons. So I think clubs have got to be very vigilant in making sure that they say to them, when Otago, in association with New Zealand, put out pretty strict guidelines about what they can do and can't do. But I think it's a bit of a soft message, if you like, but everyone's just got to look after each other. And if that means going around and 4 or 5 guys having a beer, chatting about rugby or whatever, and that keeps the spirits going, then so
that's what we're going to do. I've just got to hold up the guy, and there is no rugby, but there's big, as we know, there is big reasons for that. And my prediction is like Lee. I think, and I hope and pray, we will see rugby by the middle of May, and we may or may not be back with you next week.
You can see the full version of Rugby Chat on Channel 39 and online at odt.co.nz. Still to come on the South today, we see what sort of ski season is shaping up as the global pandemic closes nations' borders, and we have a look at the weather heading into the weekend, so see you soon.
Hasn't been much of a summer, has it? Until now. It's hot, it's getting warm, it's great. This is the time of year we love this weather. So we have a lot of surplus stock and we want to clear it at real hot prices. 50% off anything that's short sleeve. T-shirts, short sleeve shirts, polos, everything short sleeve, half price.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, get them while it's hot.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
I was just going to come on today and hold this up for 15 minutes. But that's about 30 seconds, so there is basically no rugby. What are we talking about? So today I've got Lee Piper, a Otago Rugby Union board member, and we'll talk about his journey to get onto the board. And we've got Ralph, or he likes to be called Richard, but I'm sticking with Ralph Perkins, the community rugby manager for Otago Rugby. So welcome along, lads. So the first thing is, I've just held that up, Lee, there is no rugby.
Thanks for staying with us. Uncertainty hangs over the New Zealand ski industry because of the COVID-19 outbreak. Ski fields in the Northern Hemisphere have been forced to shut this week, and chances are it could happen here this winter. The 5 main southern ski fields have acknowledged they might not be allowed to open. Cardrona and Treble Cone ski fields say it's a worst-case scenario. With the start of the season still 12 weeks away, ski industry players are spending the time planning. The Cardrona and Treble Cone fields normally employ about 900 seasonal staff from June, with many coming from overseas. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. A Dunedin clinical psychologist admits the global COVID-19 pandemic is causing panic around the world. WashRight had begun a national program to clean children's playgrounds across the country for free in response to the COVID-19 epidemic. And with sporting events being cancelled across the globe due to COVID-19, a Dunedin rugby stalwart is hopeful a club rugby season can go ahead. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Barry Stewart. What have you got for us in tomorrow's newspaper?
Well, gosh, we can't go far away from the virus and the effects of.
I was going to say COVID-19.
Possibly, yes.
Yes.
A little bit on that. 11 new cases, of course, today. So we have a comprehensive roundup of all the developments of the day and addressing them from a local perspective as well. So have a look at that. We also update what is happening at the University of Otago, or how they, what plans they have in place to address the issue, and of course that impacts on quite a number of people. So we're all looking at Plan Bs as to how we operate and how we work. So the university, amongst many others, are addressing that issue. And that changes day by day, so it is a moving feast, isn't it? Yeah. And the consequences of course, the virus. It impacts on many people's lives. We had a reporter from Invercargill who returned to the country today from Brazil, and she was a little concerned as to whether she would get into the country after the ban or the borders being closed. So fortunately she did. And she is back safely in Invercargill, so we're delighted about that. But again, it's just how people are impacted by this things. People's lives have been, in many ways, put on hold, and
or turned upside down.
Or turned upside down, and of course we have an example here where we talked to a couple who had planned to get married today. But of course that was cancelled because of travel restrictions and limits on social gatherings, etc. So they've had to delay that, what was obviously a happy and important event in their lives. So yeah, so we're going to have these stories come across our platforms all the time about how it impacts on people, and the positive stories about how we react and how, as a community, we get together and address some of these issues and get through it, because we will get through it. On a slightly different note, financial advisor Barry Clue lied to his clients for years. He's been found guilty, of course, of fraud. He invented fictitious investments to fund a life spent eating out and travelling and various other things. So we have details of some of those transactions in newly released documents that we got hold of today. And another consequence of the virus is people are looking at alternative means, and growing your own vegetables is becoming a very sought after pursuit. So it looks as though the demand for that is increasing. So people are then, going back to the roots and growing their own vegetables and things.
So something positive is
absolutely.
coming out
I mean,
of this.
that's probably an activity that people have been doing in more and more in recent times. But again, it's been highlighted again today. So for some great non-virus reading, you can pick up your weekend mix as well in the ODT tomorrow. So there's some great range of lifestyle reading there, and some puzzles and the like for older and younger readers. So just concluding, we talked to Health Minister David Clark about the tough week the government has had, and he reviews some of the activities.
Yeah, well, like a big thank you to the government and all those that are working in the services to support everyone, just to say thank you for what they're doing. And you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with tonight's southern view, a freight train hauls cargo uphill heading towards Dunedin near Doctors Point on the Otago coastline. Looking at the situation, a rainy Saturday sees strong north to northeasterly winds in most places as the depression moves onto the South Island from the Tasman Sea. Rain will ease on Sunday but may return at night as southwesterly airflow arrives. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport may have a cloud or two, showers and 17 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim can expect cloudy skies tomorrow and showers and a high of 18 degrees. Moving down to Canterbury, Kaikoura is in line for grey skies, showers and 19 degrees, and Christchurch is set to reach 16 degrees with cloud and showers. Ashburton is also due to have showers and just a high of 17 degrees as well. Heading to the southern towns, Balclutha, the Catlins, Lumsden and Gore can all expect moderate southwesterlies which will change to strong northeasterlies and rain. Looking at a high of 11 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes, Queenstown, Alexandra and Wanaka are all in for strong northerlies, rain and 12 degrees, and Te Anau expect strong northeasterlies, rain and 11 degrees. Heading north and along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru can expect strong northeasterlies, rain and 13. Looking inland, Twizel and Amarama can welcome strong northerlies, rain and a high of 12 degrees. In Dunedin, it will be cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 10 degrees. It's overcast tomorrow with periods of rain and with fresh to strong northeasterlies, looking at a high of 12 and a low of 11. And it's sunny periods at first on Sunday with northerlies becoming cloudy and cooler during the afternoon. With southwest winds freshening, rain develops on Sunday night, a high of 15 and a low of 10. And it should be mostly grey tonight in Invercargill with a low of 10 degrees. Cloudy with periods of rain tomorrow and fresh northeasterlies, a high of 12 and a low of 9. Rain easing to showers on Sunday with a change to lighter northwesterlies late in the day, a high of 12 and a low of 10. And that's all from the South Today team for this Friday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. I hope you have a great evening and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.